Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another DigiEduHack coaching call with me, Madeline. Over the time span of 12 weeks, I will be giving you 14 coaching calls on how to prepare for your own hackathon journey as a host. We're already on the 10th week, so if you've missed our previous videos, feel free to watch back on this playlist and check out the topics on the previous videos if there's something you should know before jumping into this one. If you have any questions during this session, you can ask them in the discussion forum under the video and we will answer them in text. You can also reach out to us at contact@digieduhack.com, and you can also join our support calls on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. CET to ask questions live and face-to-face with us. That being said, I will jump right in for those who have seen me several times and already know the drill. Today, we will be focusing on matchmaking and ideation support. This means that you already have come quite a long way on your hackathon journey. You have your challenge, you have your sponsors, partners, participants, and now you need to get them into teams and help them create ideas to work on during the hackathon. Today, we will go through a bit why you might need matchmaking and when you're in that situation. We're going to give you a few tools to use when you do your matchmaking, and we will also give you a timeline of how you could go about when doing your matchmaking for your participants. We're going to go through the organic and manual matchmaking, what that means and what's the difference, and of course, things to take into consideration and what kind of support you can give your participants in the ideation phase when they have become a complete team. So first of all, why matchmaking? What is matchmaking and why do you need it? Matchmaking basically means all the support and support and help that you can give your participants that will be joining your hackathon, that they actually join the hackathon and that they can feel confident that they can find a team, and also that you actually make this happen one way or another so that no one needs to attend your hackathon alone, because it's still a co-creation event. When matching your participants, you can go about it a few different ways. You can match your participants based on similar interests in the topic of your challenge. So if both have the same problem area within your challenge that they would want to approach the challenge from, they can have either similar skills or backgrounds, which can make them a good match, or then completely complementary backgrounds and skills. That means that they can complement each other in that team and get best of both worlds. And of course, that both participants are fit to the requirements of your challenge. If you have any specific requirements of either every individual that joins your hackathon, or a set of requirements for what every team needs to have. Keep in mind these and when you start your matchmaking sessions or activities. As I said, you might have very specific requirements for the participants or for the team formation. This might mean that it's difficult for the participants or individuals to find the right teams by themselves, and you might need to help them out with this. If you have a lot of single registrants, meaning single individual participants who are struggling to find a team, no matter the requirements, and this is a way to help them to form up. If you have a lot of small teams, let's say 2 to 3 people, and you're looking for teams maybe with 4 or even 5 members, you can add of those single individuals to the smaller teams as well. Or then if you have a lack of diversity in the existing teams, you can add some complementary skill sets to the existing teams. Or then if you just want to encourage the participants to spice it up a bit and mix it up and meet new people. We advise that you do the matchmaking activities, or at least start doing the matchmaking activities before your hackathon event, because then when the event actually starts, and as you know, you only have 24 hours active hackathon time once your event starts. So you won't lose time doing matchmaking too much in the beginning of that if you've already done it. You can find some matchmaking method tips here, but I'm going to show you it after a few slides as well. As said, we recommend that you take these actions before the hackathon actually starts. And one way to do your matchmaking in advance is by online tools. We have a few tools for you for both video and text communication, because doing a physical matchmaking session before the event might be difficult because not every participant might be able to join and so on. So this is a more inclusive way to do your matchmaking. So we recommend that you host a live matchmaking forum on your preferred video meeting tool, maybe Discord that is provided to you, and you have the workspace already. Here you can have your single participants and registrants introduce themselves, their background, their skills, their interests, and what they are hoping to work on during the hackathon. Once you have all single registrants introduced, you can open up breakout rooms for potential matches that were made during the introductions. This, if you use Discord, I'll say it already, but I'll say it later again. You can also use the private video chat function. I'll show you a bit later as well. When the individuals are chit-chatting and teaming up, you can make notes of skills and interests in these individuals to kind of propose team-ups and open up, as said, new breakout rooms for them. At the end of your matchmaking session, take notes on the status of these individuals. So are they still looking for teams? Did they get matched? Are they now a team, but they're still looking for someone to join? So that you can then follow up and propose new matches to these people until your event day. As for text communication, you can use, for example, Discord or other communication tools. Here it's easy to open up a matchmaking channel where people in verbal form can introduce themselves and skills and backgrounds and all the same things that they would do in that live matchmaking session. You can also do a mixture of both. You start with the live video matchmaking session, and then you encourage participants to keep up the conversations in your, let's say, Discord matchmaking channel after the session, so that they can keep chatting, getting to know each other better and create those teams. It might be intimidating to just create a team with someone after speaking only a minute or so. Try to stay on top of this and propose new matches and stay on top of the conversation to see how you can merge those participants, just to make your own life easier as well once the hackathon actually starts. Even if you're not planning on using Discord in your event, we do suggest that you don't ignore Discord before the event starts. Even if you will not use it in the event, even if you will not use it for let's say anything, all the participants have the invite link to Discord as well. And it's possible that the participants will do some self-matchmaking on those Discord channels. So please show up there, register as a host, so that you can stay up to date and be able to support these participants that are already trying to create teams on Discord. And after that, you're free to do whatever. But for matchmaking purposes, it's good that you show up there in advance. Next, you can find a proposed matchmaking timeline. And again, it goes without saying that you make your own timelines, so don't follow these blindly. You can start earlier, you can start later, and if you haven't started your matchmaking activities yet, it's never too late. So don't stress about that. So before the deadline, as we suggested earlier, you would hold your first matchmaking session or matchmaking forum, however you want to call it. And kind of use this session to introduce the team building criteria, let participants introduce themselves. You can help them on the way with some speaking slots about what skills are good to have in a team and what makes for a winning team and so on. In the session, also invite all attendees to this text matchmaking workspace as mentioned. If you want, you can create a form for your participants to inform you of new teams or to express interest to be matchmaked by you if they feel like they will not be able to join a team on their own or they don't really know how to go about that. Here, if you decide to use a form to keep yourself informed about the participant's status, we suggest that you do it as easy as possible and use the same form for all the purposes. So use the same form and have different sections for if people are looking to be joined with anyone and they trust you blindly, if they are a team but they're still looking for a specific set of skills, or they are a new team that have been matchmaked and now they want to inform you of their project idea that they want to work on. So try to keep it easy for everyone, yourself included. If you have time, we suggest that you host a follow-up video session or a few, whatever your time availability is, and help the teams again with last-minute matchmaking, ideation, brainstorming, and so on, how to prepare for a hackathon in terms of joining it, generally, whatever you can think of. And before the deadline, matchmake the individuals that have answered your form or that you've seen that are contacting each other and discussing on Discord or whatever the case may be, so that you can help form those teams. Make sure that all teams are complete before the registration deadline or before your event starts, whatever is a good deadline for yourself. But we suggest before the event starts. If you do this well in advance before the event, keep following up with your new teams to make sure that they're working together and that everything is going well and they have become a functioning team. As I said, you can do both organic or manual matchmaking. And now we're going to go through the difference here. Organic matchmaking means that the individuals are matchmaking themselves and forming new teams on their own. This means that, for example, in your video and your text workspaces, people introduce themselves, start conversations easily, and decide to work together on their own. And after they have their new teams, they inform you, for example, by filling that form I mentioned, about their new team and so on. As I said, check in after with those new teams that they're doing okay and that they're not getting stuck on something after becoming a newly formed team. And some people already did start this in Discord. So as I said earlier, pop in there if you haven't yet, because there might be some organic matchmaking already being done in your event that you don't know about. Manual matchmaking means that you as a host do the dirty work or actually matchmake the teams. The teams or individuals that want to be matchmade by you can inform you and you have permission to create new teams. So go through individuals' profiles, the team's project ideas, and connect suitable profiles and teams and projects and so on. You can introduce these newly formed teams, for example, by creating a Discord channel for their team if you're using Discord, or maybe you start a new email thread with all of those participants, but of course, making sure that you have their approval to share their email with new potential participants. Some things to keep in mind when you are matchmaking. As I said a few times, check in even after you think that you're done with the matchmaking and you have created a whole bunch of new teams. Don't leave them alone. They might still need help after. Do take into consideration GDPR, as I said, have clear consent of the personal details, for example, emails here that you will share with new participants, and don't share these if you don't get that consent. We also want to highlight fairness when creating these new teams. So don't focus only on specific profiles because they appeal to you or appeal to you in terms of the challenge that you've chosen, but take everyone into consideration and every profile, and try to form as diverse teams as possible. And to continue on that, try to distribute the skill sets evenly within your new teams, and so on. Before I will go forward, I will actually take in that the materials that I talked about earlier, and I will show you the matchmaking method and best practices slide deck next. This contains a bit of the same information that we already covered, so I'm not going to go through it word by word, but still give you a high-level picture of what this includes. First, you get the outline again of what is matchmaking, what to take in mind when you're matchmaking, and when do you find yourself in a situation where matchmaking is needed. And again, what does it mean in practice? What does it mean to matchmake individuals into new teams? This all we've covered, but again, I want to put a reminder out about the GDPR focus and aspect here, so that everyone's privacy is respected. This we talked about a bit in a previous coaching call about refusing registrants, but it's here again because it goes along the lines of going through and analyzing the profiles of your participants. So before this starts, go through your participants if you need to refuse some participants. And again, keep in mind how can you refuse a registrant and what are the grounds for refusing a registrant. So if the registrant, for example, has a team in another event, maybe even has a project in another event, they will not join both. So that's a reason, of course, for you to refuse them since they're already in another project. If you have audience requirements, for example, the participant needs to be from a certain university or a certain course or a certain age, something like that, and they are not, then they're not a fit for your event. And of course, if their needs are incompatible with your format. So let's say you're hosting a strictly on-site event and they live in another country and are not able to attend on-site, for example. For the rest of your participants as well, do analyze the registrations and prepare so that you kind of know how many teams you have that are complete, how many do you have that still need something, how many individuals do you have that need help, and so on. And then get in touch and let them join these sessions or join the text Discord workspace or other workspace that you're using to matchmake. Pretty much the same things here. If you're using Discord, I will give you a bit more detailed look on how you can use that for matchmaking purposes. Use the thread function as much as possible and encourage the users to also use the thread function to keep the conversations on the topic and organized. So to create a new thread, either for you or your participants, you will be at the Matchmaking Network channel and click the plus icon to type a new message. When publishing the message, you click Create Thread, and then you give that thread a good title. It could be a good title about the person's profile, needs, aims, whatever the topic is about, basically. And then post it and be active in the conversations that follow in that thread. Do keep in mind that it's open for everyone to join a thread and answer in it, but nothing crazy there. As a host, you can also help in the channels, and you don't need to be shy with posting and only letting the participants talk. You can create, for example, different threads yourselves. For example, 2 different threads for participants looking for a team or participants looking for teammates. They can then answer and open your threads and find other profiles, introduce themselves, and keep that focused communication that we talked about earlier. So just an example to go forward. And here, as said, you can have the video matchmaking forum. As I quickly mentioned, if you do this on Discord, because you do have the stage possibility to have these larger Discord meetings, if there are individuals or teams that want to take the conversation over to a private video call, they can click the Create Private Team video room here that you can see on the screen, and then they can create their own, so to say, breakout room. That could be an easy way for you as a host, because you don't need to previously or in advance open up different breakout rooms or create several voice channels, but the participants or individuals who want to chat with each other can do it themselves and invite one another. So could be a good option to use as a forum there. And at the event, if you still have some last-minute matchmaking to do, you can do the same structure here as in those pre-hackathon matchmaking sessions or forums. You can do them online or on-site, depending on your format of your event, but same session or same setting, ask teams and people to introduce themselves, their project, and then matchmake. A bit quicker maybe than in these pre-hackathon sessions and ways. If your participants have difficulties finding teammates, encourage them to invite their friends, colleagues, other people from their network, maybe that they're not super close with. It's a good way to get to know people from their own circles better. And especially if you're hosting a hackathon within the university, encourage people to take or stay in touch and be in touch with people that they normally are not that close with. An easy way to get new participants and teams. Also, we want to highlight that alternative sources of registrations should not get priority in your events. Some hosts have set up alternative ways to register. You have external links or external forms of registering other than the digieduhack.com form that already exists. That is all super duper, and it's nice that you're spreading the word and giving people the opportunity to register several ways. But do keep in mind these participants that are registering to your event through the form on digieduhack.com, because it's in the DigiEduHack bigger project. It is a possibility for all participants to register that way. So if you have another way of registering that you prefer, let these people know so that they can also register that way and take part of your event and all the matchmaking activities as well. So keep them informed and don't forget about them. And there we go. If you have a lot of single registrants and so on, and not that many projects when the hackathon starts or immediately before the hackathon, and you notice that you need to do something, just feel free to create groups and let them know that they now have a new team. So do randomly match teams. It's already also fine, and it's a good last minute way of getting new teams fast. And finally, do not hesitate to involve your mentors. If they get outside reinforcement from the mentors that this is a good match and you guys look like you could create a good team, then they probably will accept it and move forward together. So have your mentor support and have your whole team supporting the matchmaking so that people are in a good mood with their new teams. And there you have the support materials here. Jumping back to our other presentation. Once you have your teams, all is done, you have good teams, and you are ready to find project ideas for these teams. This is the next challenge that you might run into or so, but no worries, we're here to help you as well. Since the team might be a completely newly formed team, they might have some difficulties brainstorming together or being brave enough to actually throw out their ideas and so on. So you can also create or facilitate or propose a ideation workshop for these teams. We will show you a support deck with different workshop ideas. There are a lot, but I'm only going to focus on 2 different ones in this session today. And you can involve your mentors to support the teams in these sessions. You can have a session where you are actively involved, or you can have a session where the teams are working in their new teams individually and on their own. So you can find, clicking this link, the next support material that is made for the ideation, tools and techniques for idea generation and development. Here you can see a lot of different tools, different workshop ideas, different ways of finding new projects and brainstorming together. We're going to focus here, I'm going to jump a bit already to our first activity or workshop idea that is called the 5 whys. You might be familiar with this already. It's a super quick and easy method that helps you during the first stages of your project to finalize and crystallize and so on the idea. Basically, you ask why 5 times in every matter that comes up with your team. So someone says a statement or an idea, this would be a good idea. You ask why. It would be a good idea because this is a big problem. Why? Because this and this and this. And after you've reached the 5th why, your idea most likely will be much more crystallized than it was when you gave your original first statement. So this is an easy way to have your teams work together. You can either have the mentor, one mentor per team, and they can explain their ideas to that person, or then individually within the group if they're still completely without an idea and so on. So doesn't require much, and it's an easy way to crystallize ideas. If you keep going, you will also find different, more detailed instructions of how you can do this. The next workshop idea that I'm going to bring up today is called the Crazy 8. It's a kind of a different way of showing your idea and uses different senses, so to say. So it's more a design sprint method that helps you again to push beyond the first idea and give a wider range of solutions and so on. So as you can see here, people will sketch 8 different ideas in 8 minutes. So it's a super effective, fast way to just get everything out there, get it on paper, and then after that discuss these different creations with the team. So one round only takes the same 8 minutes and so on. Super fast way to throw everything out there, get the brainstorming started, and quickly generate new ideas when you're on a time schedule. And again, it is made for different ideas, and maybe that takes away the obstacle of you having time to think if the idea is good enough and should you even say it and so on. All the ideas will just come out because you have to get those 8 ideas out. And it's a good way to get people to think outside of the box and going beyond those obvious first ideas. And again, if you scroll through these documents, you can see clearer instructions and examples of how you could do it and how you as a coach can lead your team through this exercise. And as you can see, we have a few more examples here on workshops that you can use and keep in mind and maybe propose to your teams. So we have different resources for you here, nothing crazy, but definitely something so that you will, in the end, have complete teams with good skill sets and good projects. That concludes my presentation ×3 today in today's session. And as said, we hope that this will help you, first of all, identify which participants in your own hackathon you should accept or refuse for a reason or another. And after that, you clearly analyze the existing profiles to give everyone the possibility to join your hackathon, even though they might be a bit lost of finding their own team. So we hope that based on this coaching call, your participants will create good teams with diverse skills, backgrounds, interests, make new connections, and also that you will help them find good ideas, out-of-the-box ideas that they can work on together with the mentors during your hackathon in only a few weeks from now. As said, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us over email, contact@digieduhack.com, or you can join us in our live support calls on Discord, 10 a.m. this Friday again, and the Fridays to come before the event starts. Thank you so much for today. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next week again.